how do you organize your music? Because there's so much music
Yeah.
coming in these days. How do
Oh,
you organize it?
okay. So this is something that is work in progress. I'm a very honest person. So, I have so many amazing, this is the great thing about technology. Another reason I switched to Serato record box, it's nice to go back. Now I play very organically. It's kind of autopilot for me. So I don't have to plan my sets in chronological order, but I have certain just record crates that I know that I can count on and I'll feel good. And I even have records. I have a whole playlist which is called kind of like testing the crowd. So I play certain records to see how they react. And I do that through crates. So, you know, it can be organized by BPM, by genre, by key, by artist. These days technology allows you to do whatever. But what's really important for me is if I really didn't enjoy a set or I really enjoyed a set, I can go back to my history and see my playlist.
Hmm.
One thing I'm bad at is organization. And we thank God actually now technology has allowed us to be able to download with the right tags. I literally remember the worst time when I had unnamed tracks everywhere. So for the life of me, I was loading records to play, just guessing, according to the BPM it would work, and that is very bad. Another thing I do to organize myself is, I try and put cue points. Again, sometimes I have actually no, I admit it. I have gone into a bit of visual DJing, which is bittersweet,
Hmm.
because when you've done it, I've done it for over 10 years. I remember when I first started, I was listening and sort of like hearing back and really trying to make sure the mix was in line. Now I'm just like moving my jog wheel, like, okay, yep, this is through my colors. But I think one of the things that really helps me as well is just being a bit more patient. I went through this phase, especially when I was in New York, where because of hip hop, attention spans are shorter. I was dropping records like 15 seconds of each record. And actually, I've realized I'm enjoying now getting back into proper mixing and, you know, just playing with it and going in a journey, pulling the FX down and kind of like echoing out and doing things in a much more exciting pace. And that's also great. It depends on the crowd and how fast paced they are. The way I will mix and organize myself for a Ministry of Sound gig versus, like a presidential inauguration is very different. And so the way you organize is important because it reflects how you'll be able to react. DJing is a reactive thing, and this is what I think. It's in my opinion. But you will go to that room, and until you're behind those decks plugged in, you will not know what to expect. You can prepare as much as you want. So why not give yourself as much, cushioning as you can? Those songs that I've always thought, never play them, have been my go-to songs sometimes. So it's really, really a process.
What advice would you give to someone starting out on their DJ journey?
Don't do it. I'm joking. Do it because it's the best job in the world. Well, first of all, going back to, I guess, what we've discussed, first of all, I would ask them, why are you DJing? Is it because it's cool? Is it because it makes money? Is it because you get access to really cool places? Is it because you get free clothes? I don't know.
That's why I do it.
Obviously. So why? Again, linking to myself, I can only talk about my story. I got into music because it was a savior for me. It was an escape route. It made me feel closer to my home. It made me deal with emotions. It helped me grow up. And so when you have that passion and it's your root, the rest is whatever you want it. But I would urge them to really ask themselves why. We should ask ourselves why we do anything. Sometimes in life we do things because it's expected of us, and I have plenty of examples. But DJing was the one thing that I wanted to do, and I did it. Now, when you find that passion, how do you actually execute it? Well, the first thing you need to do is actually look at it as a proper business. If you want this to be your job, despite it being creative, you must look at it as a business. So, I was in the UK, I was from Nigeria, and I looked at my market. I'm a young black woman. How do I enter an industry? First of all, is the industry welcoming to young black women? Is it welcoming to young African artists? Is it welcoming to me? What can I give? What makes me unique? What's my niche? What am I adding to it? how do I want to enter? Do I want to enter as a producer? Do I want to enter through a venue? Do I want to enter through my music? How do I want to enter? And then what's going to keep me there? How am I going to evolve? Because when I open the door, and that's the thing, it's about opening doors. It's not about putting yourself in there and locking it. How am I going to make sure it's sustainable? And how am I going to make it my bread and butter? How am I going to make this sustainable economically as well? And that's why actually I'm really glad I went to school, and I'm glad that I had academia, because what it did was it very quickly helped me separate myself from people who were viewing it as a vibe. You know, when I decided I wanted to become a full-time DJ, I also set up my business to make sure that I was running it as something that could be, I guess, realistic. You know, because I have so many friends and people that I started DJing with who have not been able to continue because they didn't make it a business. And I really encourage everyone to study and understand the business of the industry, because it's really important. If you're going somewhere, and you will go somewhere if you're passionate, but you will have to make decisions, and you will have to be smart, and you will have to be strategic. And that's important. It's not a fun conversation to have, and maybe not one you should have in the middle of a gig, but it's important to basically set yourself up for the best possible result.
So do your research, do the work, think about it like a business, and be passionate.
That's really important. That's super important. And also, you know, be the best you can be. I mean, you know, we talked about some of the strengths and some of the things that people focus on. There's great people that are amazing at scratching. There's great people that are amazing at certain genres. What is your thing? And my thing has always been being a crowd pleaser. And my thing has always been being visual, you know, and expressing myself. And what is your thing? It's about finding out that thing, because that thing will not only open doors for you, but it'll keep you going.